I think one of the most important earnings from Musk and Tesla probably in the last few years.
How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock, the overall market. We have some big important companies announcing earnings this upcoming week. We're going to be talking about these companies, and we're also going to go over why Tesla earnings that is coming up on Wednesday, why it is super important. We're going to be hearing from Dan Ives going over exactly what to watch out for this earnings and why this is the most important earnings for Tesla. So we're going to cover all this important information in this video. Coming up, as you can see right here, we have Tesla stock sitting at $204.99. Unfortunately, we sold off pretty aggressively on Friday. As you can see, we're down more than 7%. For the week, we're down more than 8%. Unfortunately, on Friday, the overall market sold off aggressively. We had inflation data that came out on Thursday that came in higher than expected, and that kind of fueled the sell-off that happened on Friday, even though on Thursday we had a pretty magnificent rally to the upside. As you can see, we had a rally, and then unfortunately we broke down and made new lows for the week. But let's go over and look at exactly what are some big companies announcing earnings this upcoming week. So on Monday, we have big banks like Bank of America, Charles Schwab's announcing earnings. That's going to be the Kickstarter for the earnings season, as you can see. And on Tuesday, we also have Goldman Sachs announcing earnings. Before the market opened, we have Johnson & Johnson. And after the market close, we have Netflix. So Netflix is one of those stocks that we need to be watching out for because it can significantly affect the NASDAQ. And they are going to be rolling out new subscription models in November where they're going to be rolling out ads on their platform. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to be saying about that. On Wednesday, we're going to be having, before the market open, we have Ali Financials, P&G, Abbott Labs. And after the market close on Wednesday, we have Tesla that's going to be announcing earnings. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it because, as I mentioned, this is going to be one of the most important earnings for Tesla. We've been selling off aggressively to the downside, and it's going to be really, really important to see what Elon Musk is going to be saying during the earnings call, what to expect. We had some shaky delivery numbers that came out because of logistical issues, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they have to say about that. Also on Thursday, we have, before the market open, we have AT&T, Nokia. After the market close, we have Snapchat. Friday, we have Verizon, American Express. So it's going to be really action-packed. We have a lot of big companies, big tech companies, big financial stocks, bank stocks announcing earnings. So it's going to be very, very action-packed. We can see a significant move happening with the overall market. So luckily, we don't have any kind of big economic data that can shake up the overall stock market. But as we get into November, that's when we're going to be getting interest rate hikes. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. So let's go over and look at exactly Tesla stock. As you can see, unfortunately, we've been selling off aggressively to the downside since we got the earnings. Since we got the delivery number announcements, we've been selling off. We gapped down, sold off again. We got the unemployment data that we've got, which came in lower than expected. We also had inflation data that came out. We rallied. Unfortunately, we can sustain it because inflation was higher than expected, and we're sitting at $204. So we've been talking about for the past few weeks that Tesla might be sitting between 205 to 250 for the next few months. Unfortunately, we're testing the lows right now. So if we can hold above this $200, that'll be fantastic. Maybe we can get a recovery pretty soon, but it does not look like we are going to get any kind of positive news unless we have a massive surprise on the earnings. The good thing about earnings is that even if Tesla misses earnings, that does not guarantee that the stock's going to go up. If Tesla beats earnings, that does not guarantee that the stock's going to go down or up. So it's like really unpredictable what the stock's going to be doing when it comes to earnings. So that is really important. So it's definitely a flip in a coin and what investors are going to be thinking ahead. And maybe Tesla will announce a share buyback or anything like that. So those are the things that people are speculating that could happen. But unfortunately, we have a lot of things that we need to be watching out for Tesla. So we have Elon Musk Twitter, and there's a lot of things that's happening in the short term that can affect Tesla. Of course, Elon Musk's Twitter thing is going to be scheduled to potentially continue on October 28th. That's going to be the deadline. But let's go over and hear from Dan Ives going over exactly why he believes that this earnings is going to be super important, why he believes that this Elon Musk Twitter thing, it could potentially provide another headache for Tesla in the short term. Maybe Elon Musk might sell his shares, might not sell his shares. So we'll see, but let's hear from him, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about exactly what to expect for Tesla, the overall market for tomorrow. So let's check out the video.
It's real. I mean, they just came off a 3Q delivery miss, and this is all about 4Q guidance. Can they guide to strength, specifically in China? That's why it's fork in the road. Is it a logistics issue or demand issue? That's going to be the bull-bear debate. We believe it's more logistics rather than demand, and that continues to be strong. But that's why this is, I think, one of the most important earnings from Musk and Tesla probably in the last few years.
So whatever the issue is, are they going to be able to increase their units as much as the street currently expects, or they have told the street in the past?
Yeah, look, we believe they still could guide toward 50% growth for the year, to be about 475K type number for Q4. I think demand looks strong, specifically, in Europe as well as in China. But look, for the first time in a few years, backs against the wall. I mean, they've had some stumbles. We could say some of it's logistics, but obviously in a macro like this, there's going to be I would say guilty till proven innocent in terms of the demand. And for Musk, when you add up, Twitter and everything else, I mean, it's just been a combined headwinds for Tesla, and that's why the stock just continues to trade lower.
You worry that he's going to have to sell more shares to help fund the Twitter deal?
Well, I do worry. I mean, you had a great interview with Costello, in turn talking about the Twitter deal. I think the worry is some of the financing falls through and he's going to have to sell more. And I think that has really been the albatross on Tesla in terms of it's the combo. It's the delivery miss and the worry that some of that financing could ultimately fall apart. And Musk ultimately is really going to be the one that's going to have to make it up. How would he do in terms of selling more Tesla stock? And I think that's front and center in terms of what's really been overhang.
I know, but none of that ever forces you to change anything on the stock. I mean, you got to outperform and you still got 360, right? You call it an albatross. You say it's an overhang. You say this, that, and the other thing, but nothing ever changes the price target.
Yeah, and Scott, it's a great point. And my view is just the Twitter situation. I think it's a contained overhang that ultimately in the next week or two, we continue to believe that Musk will ultimately own Twitter, by October 28th. And in terms of ultimate view on Tesla, in terms of where I view it in 2023, if they could do 2 million plus deliveries, given the profitability and given the margins, I believe this is a stock that is in the mid 300s. And that's why we don't change our price target knee jerk just in a white knuckle market.
Yeah. All right. Dan, I appreciate it as always. Dan Ives, Wedbush, joining us there. We'll talk to you again soon.
So what to expect for Tesla stock going into tomorrow? So tomorrow we have financial stocks announcing earnings. So depending upon how the market's going to be doing, we could be testing, unfortunately, the lows of around 204 to 203. We could be staying above $200 for tomorrow. And as we get into Wednesday, depending upon how this big tech companies like Netflix see what their earnings is about, their guidance, that could have an impact on the NASDAQ, and that in turn can have an impact with Tesla. So we might test out the $200 mark. So we might potentially see 200 and we might bounce back up, test it a few times and maybe bounce back up to 210, 215 area, depending upon how the market's going to be behaving. So it's going to be really, really shaky. It's really very bad to see Tesla below $200, but that might happen this week. And of course, Wednesday, we might get a massive surprise and maybe we can rally to the upside pretty soon. The overall market, same thing. We've been selling off. On Friday, we sold off aggressively, but we are definitely holding up some of the massive gains that we got from Thursday. So that is relatively pretty good. And these financial stocks, these big tech companies, also earnings could have a massive impact on the overall market. So Monday, we'll see what the banks stocks, what they're going to be saying about their guidance and their earnings. That could definitely play a major role. So be on the lookout for that. But let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think is going to be happening for tomorrow for this upcoming week? Tesla earnings. Can we potentially be going below $200? Can we bounce back up to above 205, going to 210? Let me know in the comments below. I'll let your opinion. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification bell if you're new to the channel. And if you want to stay up to date on what's going on with the overall market with Tesla, I'll definitely keep you up to date. But I'll catch you guys on another video. Have a wonderful day.